Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. It is Monday morning. We are stepping into a brand new week. So we're taking the opportunity with a new week ahead to decide how exactly we want to be intentional about this week ahead. When we step into this week, do we want to be on autopilot, reacting to life in the same old ways we've reacted to life in the past? Or would we rather be intentional and take a moment to prepare ourselves for what might come at us this week and proactively decide how we want to deal, how we want to try a different choice, different decision, see if we can get a different result than the ones in the past. Somebody, good morning. Happy Monday. It's great seeing you. Right, so let's get into it. Let's get into today's message. Looking at the week ahead. Monday morning starts as a reflection on what I want to create this week. And also how I want to create, how I want to show up, how I want to feel while I'm creating. Hey Anthony, good evening. It's awesome seeing you, dude. Hello. But I do find that being serious about creating often brings our anxieties to the surface as we get stressed about the things that we can't control. So I feel compelled to ask this question: can I create at my highest potential from a place of surrender? I want to turn the question around as well and put it in slightly different words. Can I be completely surrendered, not be so serious, and still create at my highest potential? Hey Charlene, good morning. Welcome to a brand new week. Our teacher for this week is Eckhart Tolle, but I included the teachings of two more to help answer this question. The question being, can I be completely surrendered and still create at my highest potential? Eckhart says, always say yes to the present moment. What could be more futile, more insane than to create inner resistance to what already is? What could be more insane than to oppose life itself, which is now and always now? Surrender to what is, say yes to life, and see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you, says Eckhart. Toni Morrison says, if you surrender to the wind, you can learn to ride it. And Aristotle says, I can't change the direction of the wind. It doesn't help me to battle this force that is doing its own thing. But I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination, says Aristotle. Resisting the reality of what is futile. Eckhart calls it insanity even. Think about it. When we resist what is, we're essentially spending our precious energy trying to make the wind blow in a different direction. And when we're not in surrender, this is often exactly what we do with our energy. Wasted effort, fighting forces that we cannot change. Here's what surrender is not. It's not passivity. It's not giving up. It's not a lack of action. True surrender is a deep willingness to avoid nothing, to escape nothing, and resist no part of life itself. Instead, it means meeting each moment face to face with wide open eyes and an open heart, so that we can see clearly exactly what we're dealing with. On the other side of surrender always lies clarity. Once we surrender to the acceptance of this precise moment, we stop wasting trying to change the wind's direction. Instead, we ask the only question that matters: how do I set my sail? This shift transforms everything. Surrender becomes the most productive thing you could possibly do. Anything else is wasted energy. You have a choice in how you engage with life's inevitable challenges and changes. You can spend your strength wrestling the wind, exhausting yourself in futile resistance, or you can harness its power, using the very forces you once fought against to propel you forward. Let's make it our goal this week to find the synergy between surrender and also taking action. When we create from surrender rather than resistance, we tap into a flow state where effort feels effortless, where obstacles become opportunities, and where our highest potential naturally emerges. We're no longer creating against life, but with it. So if you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll slip off into this week together, setting clear intentions for how we want to show up. Here we go, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. While you continue your full body breathing, while you feel the rise in your body with every inhale, and also deeply soften into the fall of your body as you exhale. Let's continue the conversation about surrender. What surrender does. With every exhale, take a moment to embody surrender. These two quotes that I read a moment ago, to me, describe exactly what surrender is and what becomes available to us in that space of surrender. So again, as you exhale, think of yourself as your body softens as embracing surrender. As your body softens, feel what surrender feels like. Aristotle speaks about surrender without using the word. He encourages us not to try and fight the wind. He says, I can't change the direction of the wind. In other words, not fighting, not resistance. He says, I can, of course, adjust my sails. I can adjust my sails to reach any destination. So clearly, he doesn't speak of surrender as giving up. He says something more becomes available when we give up the resistance. With every exhale, accept surrender into your body. Toni Morrison says, if you surrender to the wind, that's the same conversation. If you surrender to the wind, you can learn to ride it. Again, clearly, surrender has got nothing to do with giving up. Perhaps giving up the fight, yes. Surrender says, I will no longer be in resistance. Because while we're resisting, while we are fighting, we're not seeing the whole picture. We're not seeing what becomes available while we're fighting. But when we soften and accept the reality that we're facing right now, that's when possibilities and opportunities become available. When we stop fighting is when we can start seeing how to set our sails, how to ride the wind. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward, and then roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. Lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least becoming as present as we possibly can be right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. Feel yourself slipping deeper and deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, see yourself standing at the start of a brand new week. See your toes sticking over the edge and see yourself ready to dive in. Take your next big breath. Standing at the start of a brand new week, we take the opportunity to look into the week ahead and be intentional about how we walk into this week. When we're not being intentional, we risk being on autopilot. And on autopilot, we are likely to react to life in the same old patterns we reacted to life before. And when we continue reacting in the same way, we keep recreating the past over and over again. So let's look into the week ahead and decide how we want to be intentional. How we want to be deliberate about our response to life this week. So let's start for a moment with what is known about the week ahead. What is already in your calendar? As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of what lies ahead this week. Take a moment to stroll through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And remind yourself of some of the things you need to get done this week, some of the places you need to go this week, some of the people you need to see this week. Just give yourself a quick heads up of what lies ahead this week. Take your next big breath. What are you creating this week? And while you might have some specific goals you want to reach this week, I want to focus even more on how are you creating this week? How will you show up? How will you respond when this week's stumbling blocks and obstacles come around? What is the intention you are setting? When this week you have to deal with what life brings, how do you want to deal with that? Take your next big breath. We'll come back to the how again in a moment. But for right now, let's take one more look at some of the things you might want to get done this week. For a moment, transport yourself a week ahead, all the way to the next weekend. Just imagine for a moment making your way through this week, reaching the weekend and looking back. What would your checklist look like for the end of this week? When you look back, what are some things for which you'd like to say, I got this done, I got that done? And what are some things for which you'd like to say, I got started on this one and I made progress on that one? What would your checklist look like for the end of this week? Take your next big breath. Let's take a moment to ask the question again. How do I want to create this week? How do I want to show up? What do I want my state to be, my mindset to be? For a moment, we'll reach for one of these beautiful analogies we started with again. The wind. I want you to imagine what it would look like to actually fight the wind. To actively resist the wind and try and make it change its direction. Be open to this exercise of silliness. See if your mind can come up with some images, some footage. What would it look like to resist the wind, to make it do what you want it to do? Have fun with the image. Take your next big breath and see what comes to your mind. We might have thought that surrender requires us to lie down and say, oh, it's futile, I can't change anything. Let me stop trying. And that's only because in a reactive state, when we are reacting to the wind, fighting our hearts out against something we can't change, in this reactive state, we don't have any access to wisdom. We only have access to the same actions we've taken in the past. Because in this reactive state, we are completely controlled by our old program. Surrender asks us to put the fight down, take a step back, breathe. But in this space, we get access to seeing more. Aristotle says, I can't fight the wind, but I can choose how I set my sails. Toni Morrison says, when I surrender to the wind, I can learn how to ride it. What is the wind that you've been fighting? And what would surrender look like in this case? If you are unable to change the thing that you were trying to change, what is there for you to surrender to? And in surrender, what might become available? We're not asking you to stop taking action, but to stop taking action for long enough to find a calmer space and realize that in this situation that has seemed futile, there are opportunities available. There are ways in which you can set your sails. Make this your goal this week. Will you be open to seeing how you can set your sails differently, even when the wind doesn't change? Take a look at your week ahead one more time. And have this conversation as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you. I don't have to change the wind, but I will get better at setting my sails. This week, be open to recognizing how to perhaps set your sails differently. Take your next big breath and create for yourself that picture. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Take a deep breath in and hold As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and invite softness into every fiber of your being. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I'll read to you one more time today's quotes. Eckhart says, "Always say yes to the present moment." What could be more futile than to create inner resistance to what already is? What could be more insane than to oppose life itself, which is always now? Surrender to what is. Say yes to life. And see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you, says Eckhart. And then the two other quotes that I've mentioned many times now. Toni Morrison says, "If you surrender to the wind, you can ride it." Aristotle says, "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." One more time, let's make this our goal this week. Our goal to realize that fighting what we can't change anymore will just continue to be a waste of energy. Trying to change the wind will never be a successful strategy. But in this week, this is the intention I'm setting. When I feel like I need to fight, I want to remember to take a step back and take a better look at this wind. Take a better look at reality just as it is. And then ask myself this question. If fighting is not the thing that'll work, what are the other opportunities? How can I set my sails differently? Because what I want to do is stop fighting what is. Stop wasting my energy in trying to change the wind direction. But only ever pour my energy into setting my sails productively, moving my boat in the direction that I choose, even while I can't change the weather. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for the privilege of standing at the start of a brand new week. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for this moment to become intentional about my week ahead. Deciding how I want to show up, how I want to respond to life, how I want to move with life as life moves. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for getting better at not fighting, not trying to take action in resistance and just spending much more energy. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to see more of the opportunities in surrender. For really learning that when I surrender to the wind, I can learn how to ride it. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for jumping into a new week with us. Sending you a lot of strength, a lot of clarity, a lot of love, in recognizing whatever the wind direction is in your life right now, that there are ways that you can set your sails. But first, try and not get caught in the fight. Try and step away from the instinct to fight. Give yourself a moment to breathe and ask, what's the opportunity here? What am I not seeing? Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Sunmarie. Ali, a very good Monday morning to you. It's awesome jumping into the week along with you. Prepare a good evening to you. It's awesome seeing you. Have a great week. I trust that you will set your sails productively. Ciao, ciao.